Music money makers, after 20 years of being in the game, I realized that for a lot of you all, it may be frustrating starting your record labels on a limited shoestring budget, okay? And because of that, I figured I should take my own advice and create a formula for anyone to start their record labels, whether it be an artist or do-it-yourself artist or an actual investor for a record label, so that it can be successful on that limited budget that you have. Now, today's video is a part of a 13-part series that will lead up to the releasing of the course that I've been telling you all about, the 60-day record label course. So you want to stick and stay for the next 13 videos in this series here. It's going to help you throughout the whole winter in building your record label. Because what I don't want you to do is encounter some of the same mistakes that I encountered, and that really gave me some setbacks in this music industry. And so I'm going to propel you forward with a lot of things that you can use so that you don't expend your funds too fast and too quickly in the very beginning, so you can have a successful release. Coming up right here on the Music Money Makeover Show. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music Money Makeover Show. My name is Casey Graham, and let's hop right in. So the first thing we got to figure out is, what are you selling? Now, this is either for the label or for the artist. What we're selling is three things in the very beginning. We don't have much to sell, but we're only selling three things: the music, the live performance. That is a separate thing from the music. Even though the music goes in it, the live performance is a separate production. So we're selling that. And then on top of that, we're selling print on demand merch if you have the infrastructure built to handle that. Those three things are what we're selling across the board. Now, I can tell you how to find your target market. I have other videos for that. But we have to dig into the market itself. First, on a physical plane, okay? We want to dig in and we want to see what's happening in your local area. In that local area, we got to investigate the music scene. The music scene is the type of people that will actually buy and listen to music and what music they're listening to. A good way to do this is kind of just scan your radio stations and see how many radio stations are popular in your area and what music do they play. Because there's some areas in the United States where they only have country and rock music. So that's going to pretty much give you your demographics of the area, okay? And then on top of that, we want to look and see who's in those demographics that will actually come and buy tickets or come out to the shows and, you know, whatnot. So you need to go out into your club scene, your music scene, and see who's at these venues. How do people consume music in a live sense in your local area? When I mean local, I mean city and sometimes zip code, all right? Your few zip codes that surround you. You got to see this from a local viewpoint. The reason why we want to investigate the local infrastructure is because we want to see what the music scene is exactly like. So if you make hip hop music, and let's say there's only one hip hop radio station in your area and the rest is blues, country, rock, it's going to be a small area for hip hop, but it's going to be a big area if you're rock, blues, and country, right? So it's going to work. It's going to be a great music scene for you. We want to see what we're dealing with and if we need to reach out to other local markets. You get what I'm saying? So we want to totally investigate the target market here. Now that we know what the scene looks like, we've researched our target market, which is the music lovers, the music scene of our local area. And we haven't done this on a digital plane yet, but we're about to. Now we want to develop a strategy to infiltrate that scene, which means we need to know the key players in that scene. We need relationships to make this happen because remember, we don't have a lot of money. And I'm just going to set our budget at 10 grand, but we don't have a lot of money right now, okay? And we're going to need relationships for leverage. We have knowledge up here. We have skills up here. We have desire up here. Well, in the heart, we have desire, right? And now we're going to need help. We're going to need some extra relationships. Therefore, we got to infiltrate that scene and find the relationships we need. Now, this can be local club owners, or has to be local club owners, the DJs at those clubs and on the club scene and on the music venue scene, those music venue owners, not just club owners, venue owners as well, or the buyers of talent at those venues. And then we want the radio DJs as well because they're helpful too. They're always out in the community. And we want other influential individuals that have something to do with the music scene. This could be hosts of different shows out there. And we also want the promoters as well. We got to find all of these people on the local music scene because as you begin to grow as an artist and as a record label, your artist needs to have the city on their back. That's the only way you can take over your region after you leave your local area. Now, if you are a digital only artist, this can still be done, but not in the local area. You just have to do the same thing on a digital scale. And for those real artists, right, those people who are not like behind a character or anything like that, we need to actually do both. And because of that, we need to look at things like the influencers online that are related to your type of music, and the bloggers too. Do not sleep on those bloggers, because the bloggers will do something great for SEO outside of social media. So we need influencers on social media. We need people like bloggers. We need the aggregate social media pages, because the aggregate social media pages behave like the bloggers. You see what I'm saying? Then we need the playlist curators, because they're essentially the same thing as the aggregate social media pages. So when we have those social media pages and the playlist curators, then the only other thing that we would need is the influencers on top. And I think I already said that, so I just had to take a look. I was glancing over at my list right there. Okay, that's how we do that on both sides of the playing field. There's the physical version of those people. There's the digital version of those people. When you can do both, it starts to look amazing for you. Now that you have the people that you need to target, you have researched your local market that you're going to work in and that you're going to build in first before you move out of it, right? Because we have to have a starting point. Now we can move on to our next step. The next thing we want to do is we want to set a goal, right? We set a strategy on how we're going to infiltrate that market. I'm going to talk about strategy in a minute, but we got to set a goal that we want to reach with that market, whether it be digital or in the physical. We want a goal to reach. That goal will be this, and this is where I like to set that goal. 10,000 monthly listeners on Spotify. This is our measure, because in other platforms we can't really measure yet. YouTube Music does have some measuring capabilities, so I don't want to leave them out. But Spotify, we want 10,000 monthly listeners there. We want $10,000 in a 12-month period. Right? And then from that $10,000 in a 12-month period, this is what we're going to yield out of that in terms of streams. And these streams can come from any streaming platform. I'm just saying we want $10,000, and I'm going to give you the average number here. That $10,000 is the equivalent of 2,631,579 streams in 1 year. And that's totally doable if you're putting in the work on a daily basis. Let me break this down into the month. That'll be 298 and 1/4 streams a month. Still totally doable if you got your plan down right, your strategy down right. Now, because we have a goal, we have the market, we have the key players, we have the goal, let's open up our strategy and build it for real. Remember, we haven't even spent no money yet. We're still planning here. And this is what you have to do when you're on a shoestring budget. Let's open up the strategy. Now we need to develop a strategy, and this is what we got to do. I want you to think of your strategy as playing fields. We're playing over here on this soccer field and not over here at this soccer field for a specific reason, or this football field and not this one, or this baseball field and not that baseball field. Whatever you want, whatever field you want, we're calling it that. We're going to call it markets, and then we're going to call it niches online. In the physical, we're going to call it the market. In the digital, we're going to call it the niche. Okay, what playing field are you playing on? This strategy is important because it will create value. So we are playing on playing field X instead of playing field Y. Here's why we should be playing on playing field X instead of playing on playing field Y. Where is the Y? Here's why we're over here instead of over here. You have to figure that out for yourself. Now, if we're playing on playing field X over here, here's why on playing field X, we're going to be better than everybody at serving the customers, the listeners, and the potential fans on playing field X. Here's why we're going to be better than everybody else on playing field X, serving the potential customer, the fan, the listener. You get what I'm saying? Answer that question for yourself. Now, the next thing for the strategy that we have to look at is what would have to be true about ourselves, the industry, the fans, and the competition to make all of this work. What would have to be true about ourselves, the industry, the fans, and the competition to make this work? You see what I'm saying? And ourselves meaning the skills. What skills do we possess? The customers, what are these customers? What has to be true about the industry for all of this to work for us according to our product? Remember in the beginning, we said our product was music, the live show, and print on demand merch. So I don't want you to forget that, okay? Also don't want you to forget that we haven't spent money yet. Now, when we go through that strategy, we view it as this. Here's why we're choosing to play, right? This is why we decided to do this in the first place. Here's how we're choosing to win. How are we going to implement this strategy, and what is our goal? What is our winning goal? Here's how we're going to win. What are we going to do on that playing field to win? Because we confined ourselves. We didn't put ourselves way out here. We confined ourselves to that playing field, that niche, and now we can see through it. See what I'm saying? Now we're going to win doing X, Y, Z instead of A, B, C, or A through Z. We write it right here. We're going to win by doing X, Y, and Z. And we're only going to win by doing X, Y, and Z on the playing field in the niche so that we achieve our goal. You see what I'm saying? Now we have increased our probabilities, but I got one more piece for that. So now what are the skills to win on this playing field doing X, Y, Z? And who are the personnel we need to win on this playing field doing X, Y, and Z to get to our goal of $10,000 in 12 months or 2.6 million Spotify streams or 10,000 Spotify listeners? What do we need to do to get to that point on that specific playing field doing X, Y, and Z? You see what I'm saying? This is strategic right here. Now, here's how we're going to manage the process to get all of that done. All right. How are we going to manage all this stuff? What systems do we need to have in place to manage all of the processes? That's your strategy right there. And that's probably going to be in the course. This whole little clip right there is probably going to be in the course because that was a whole lot of game right there. And that is how we figure out what we're going to do as a label. You get what I'm saying? We're in there now. We have a clear view of what the freak we going to do. You know what I'm saying? We're not lost out here. Let's go to the next step. Now, I've spoken about this several times on the channel, and this is defining the services that you're going to offer. If you want to know more about the services thing, go watch my video, 4 bulletproof ways to start your own record label without any experience, because that's going to break down the service. I'm just going to give you a little bit of information here. And if you're an artist, remember the service that you're offering is what we're selling: the music, the live performance, and the print on demand merch. So the first thing you're going to do if you're a record label is you're going to offer marketing services. So this is going to be very easy for you to do because this is something that the artist is going to need anyway. But I shouldn't say marketing, because once you do the market planning, kind of like what we just did, you're kind of out of there, because now you have to add your next step, which is the promotion. And when we offer the promotion step, that is the action to go into the market. And because of that, you're going to have to put more effort forth here. But that's why we designed the strategy, so we wouldn't overwhelm you with doing too much in the market. We're just going to promote to this specific market so we're not lost in the sauce doing everything, not achieving our result. You get what I'm saying? Now, after that, you want to do some project management. Project management is easy as long as the artist is underneath your belt. But that's going to have to go into another topic further in today's video. But project management you will need to offer. And this has to do with getting the project from A to Z and delivering it to the public in a very crisp, clean, professional way so that people can see that, oh, I need to consume this new music, right? So let's go forth from here. Our next step here is securing seed capital or our seed funding. I like to set it at $10,000, right? Before you get involved, because you're going to need some runway for you to go, because when you're getting started, it's going to be hard to raise funds and build at the same time. So you need enough funds there so you don't have to worry about trying to raise funds while your mind is so focused on building and you're on such limited personnel and staff to get this done, right? So you want to kind of get as much as you can in the beginning before you get started, before you have to go and raise more funds. With that being said, $10,000 is the goal. I realize everybody can't get there, but that's what we want to do. Option 1 is obviously to use your own savings, but option 2, you can go to family and friends. Now, if you want to go to family and friends, it's going to be a lot easier to go to family and friends when you just went through this whole plan and strategy of how you're going to infiltrate the market. And you use the strategy to get there. And this is the type of artist you're going to have. This is the music you're going to sell, yada, yada, yada. It's a lot easier when you got all this on paper written down and you ask your family and friends for money. They're going to feel a lot more inclined to give you the money. If you're having trouble raising funds, you can get grants and things of that nature. I don't have any experience with getting grants, but I know that some people have paid me through this channel with grants. So it's out there. I'm just giving it to you. But by all means, do not get a business loan on this. And chances are you're not going to get a business loan on doing this anyway, because it's intellectual property. And unless the intellectual property, meaning the copyrights and the trademarks and stuff like that, will be generating cash already, it's kind of hard to use that as leverage. So I'm just saying. But on the flip side of the loan, don't use the credit card unless you know how to use the credit card, okay? And definitely watch this video first. How to expand your record label with business credit. I did a video on this because a lot of people were going and getting credit cards, you know, during the pandemic. Everybody was like, oh, how can I get this money? I need this money, that money. And they were starting to build business credit out of thin air, right? With no income on their business. So watch that video if you want to know how to do that. I still don't recommend using credit cards for this venture. I would much rather you use hard cash for this venture. 10,000 is our goal. If you can get to 5,000, let's rock out on the 5,000. Let's keep going. I also recommend watching my video, how to easily make an album for under $1,000, if you need some ideas on how you can be very frugal with this money. Now, registering the business. This is where we're going to start to spend money here. Grab my 60-day record label book for this. This is going to teach you how to actually build the record label the right way. Now, if you're strictly building a record label and you will not be signing your artist up for a publishing deal inside that record label, meaning there won't be a publishing administration clause or a co-pub deal inside of your record deal, then you're going to be topping out at about $500 building the structure of the label, and you're going to do it faster than 60 days. Matter of fact, you might do it in 30. But if you're adding a publishing clause because you want that too, it's going to take you about 60 days to knock all this stuff on out. Okay, so grab the 60-day record label executive edition because I want you to do it the right way, and because the original 60-day record label is going away in 2023. So I want to set you up for the right thing. Do that. Okay, this is going to cost anywhere from $500 to $750 to $1,000, depending on where you live in the United States. All right, and so therefore that's why we just raised our $10,000, because we got to build the company. If you're a label and you're getting ready to sign an artist, I hope you're not signing an artist to you personally. I hope you're not taking all this risk on by yourself. You better make a company for this thing. So grab that book and then build it the right way. Now we got to go to our next step. Here's where things get tricky. Artists, you don't have to worry about this if it's you. I'm speaking solely to the record labels. You got to choose your first artist, and you got to decide between a single deal or an EP deal. And I'm not even throwing an album deal or a multi-album deal in here. This is your first go at bat. What I will do is give you a threshold guarantee, which is known as an option. So if you meet X, you can do Y, or if you meet Y, you can do X. Okay? But with that deal, I do not want you to go and grab a contract off of Google. I don't even want you to type in ChatGPT, write a contract, a record contract for me, because you don't know how to read these contracts yet. You're going to need a contract from an attorney, and you're going to need them to help you through that contract so you know what you're signing and what your obligations are for the record company. And in that case, you're going to spend about $750 to another $1,000 for a good contract. Now, it is only if you've had just as much experience as I have that you will go and grab one of those contracts offline because you know how to read it. But yet and still, I would still go to an attorney to grab that contract. That's going to run you about $1K. And you want to figure out what the percentage split will look like for this first EP, whether it be 50-50, 60-40, 70-30, or 80-20. All right. I recommend in the very beginning, because it's probably just going to be you and that artist. If it's going to be you and that artist, I recommend a 60-40, so it's fair on the first project. And this is going to be the first project alone, because after a minute, you know, you all are going to go together on skills, time, and money all together on the first album, more than likely. I mean, unless you just got it all. If you have it all, then, you know, 70-30, 80-20. That's what we're doing out here, you know, unfortunately. If the artist is really going to put in a lot of resources and time, 60-40, 50-50, okay? Either way, one project with an option to renew if a set goal is met. So if you meet your 10,000 monthly listeners and $10,000 in 12 months, let's re-up to the next album and do it again, baby. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you're going to need to do all of this still on a shoestring budget, even if you have the money. So you want to get the artist to work with producers who are going to have free studio time and can get the album recorded for free. And where you want to spend your next set or your next boatload of cash is on the mixing and mastering. So as long as the producer can get a good signal on that lead vocal and all those vocals, great, because we're paying the producer for the beats anyway. We're going to spend our money paying the producer for the beats and the mixing and the mastering and the quality of the sound. And we want to get the recording for little, nothing, or free if we can possibly do that. Again, watch my video on how to make an album for under $1,000, or I forgot what it was called. But watch that video if you want to know how to shoestring this thing and strap it up. You know what I mean? Let's go to our next step here. Building the online presence. This kind of has something to do with what we were talking about on offering the artist services, but now this is for the artist and the record label. This is your online presence. And no, I'm not talking about the content. What I'm saying is this, follow me. When you drop the album, it has to look so good for search engine optimization and for the presence of who you are, the way you present yourself, the way you show up when you walk in a room. When I Google search you, I need to see your dopest pictures, your bio and all that stuff on Spotify, on Apple, on Amazon, on Tidal. I don't think Tidal has an access to you. They might, I don't know. But the artists for the Spotify music for artists, the Apple music for artists, Amazon music for artists, even the YouTube music for artists has to be done, because YouTube are combining their shorts, the standard YouTube page and the YouTube music pages. Now I gotta do a video on that one. YouTube and TikTok are about to go head to head in a battle royale in 2023. But anyway, YouTube as well. Instagram, your Instagram bio at the top, all this matters. Your website, that is exactly the artist's name. The Facebook page, even though you don't think it matters, it does for search engine optimization, all right? All of this, and even though you're not ready for it yet, we need all this information in place for when it's time to do your Wikipedia page. All this will go on the knowledge panel. We're gonna talk about all of this in the course, but you know what I'm saying? Like all this has to be done for your presence. That's the presence. That's the presence. It looks like, oh man, this person is on point here. You get what I'm saying? That's what I mean. So we got to build that artist online presence. That's part of your services as a record label or artist. You're going to need to know how to do this yourself. Now, promote. Okay, so after we got all this stuff done, we got the mixing and mastering, we got the record label built, we're gonna handle all the proper registrations, we built everything out with a 60-day record label. We gotta promote this thing. How are we gonna do that? You get what I'm saying? How do you promote a single with less than $10,000? We had a budget of $10,000, but that don't mean we set the budget for promotion at $10,000. We had to build a record label from the ground up. You know what I mean? So now, here's what I'm gonna recommend to start with. Here's the type of promotion we need to work with. We need micro video content and we need playlists. If you can't do anything else, you can do those two first. Because the micro content is not necessarily a full music video, but it is a sample to showcase what could possibly be with these songs with this artist. So we're gonna spend money there. We're gonna shoot this thing for free on an iPhone 13 or 14, preferably, if you can do it. And then from there, we're probably going to pay an editor or somebody online $100 or $200 per video to do this thing. We're going to 10x this thing, and we're going to spend about $1,000 or $2,000 there on micro content. If you can get all this stuff done for a fraction, great. But if you can't, $1,000 or $2,000 is what we're spending on good micro content videos for the songs that are on, that is the single or the EP. Either way, we got to get these people to hear the music. And they need to see it in some type of quality presentation. And we're not trying to spend an arm and a leg to do this. We're not even trying to shoot a whole music video here. You know what I'm saying? 60 seconds to 90 seconds. That's what we're rocking with on these micro content videos. And outside of that, we want to get the playlisting done. Okay? So a lot of this playlisting you're going to be doing yourself. Contacting these playlists yourself. But if you're not going to be contacting these playlists yourself, you got to pony up some money to get the curators to do it. Not curators, but the playlist promoters to do it. It's going to be a little bit more difficult. That's why I'm saying you're going to have to do some yourself and get some of the promoters to do some of the work, because you don't want to rely just strictly on the promoters. You need to build relationships with the independent playlist owners out there as well. Now, outside of those two promotional steps right there, you also want to work with the small influencers, the micro influencers on social media. If we can get them to pay nothing for a post, let's do it. But I mean, I don't want you spending over $100 for a post. I want you to come down to 50, even though I know inflation is here. I know people want money. man, micro-influencer land, we want to get them to do stuff to our songs. And these micro-influencers are, again, based on our lifestyle interests. So I'm just letting you know that. This is probably one of the longer videos that I've done in quite some time. And you may say, well, it's so much work, Casey. Why can't I just get a DistroKid account and put it out? Well, the thing is, everybody has a DistroKid account. Everybody's put out their music. And if it worked that way, then wouldn't you see all these other people, you know what I mean, succeeding by just putting their music out and saying, oh, it's going to work? No, you got to work the records. Sometimes, for some people, music just ain't it. You just starting with music, but you might find another way or another route to be in this music industry. With others, you know what I mean, it's going to work for you. It all depends on how well you sell the product, the music, the live show, and the merch. How well you believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? What if the promotions don't work? Well, at the end of the day, the promotion is not working because the promotion isn't quality, right? And probably your promotional materials are whack. To be fair, you know what I mean? They still got to look good for what they are on a shoestring budget. I'm not telling you to go spend thousands of dollars on a music video. That's dumb. That is so stupid to spend thousands of dollars on a music video and nobody knows you. It's a sampling process. You get what I'm saying? Well, I just can't get the $10,000, man. Like, for real, I didn't say you had to get the $10,000. Remember that? But you got to get something. Because just having a quality product and relationships is not going to get you where you need to be. Those relationships may actually help you get some seed capital, but you got to realize we still had to get money, didn't we? So if you can get some money up, great. The more investors you can keep out, I want you to watch this video right here. I'm going to flash it on the screen. It's going to talk about the investors. The more investors you can keep out in the beginning, the better. So we're good. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to define what you're selling. I want you to research the target market. I want you to create a strategy to infiltrate that market. Raise the capital. Build the record label structure with the 60-day record label guide on the site. Simple. Choose the artist, set the goal, build the presence, then promote. Book a call if you need extensive help with this, because this is a lot. It's a long process and it's a lot of planning, man. So in the end, by using this method right here, you're going to get way further than a lot of people who wouldn't plan or strategize at all with what they're going to do. This is for everybody going into 2023. This is why I'm doing this video. I appreciate all my viewers. You know what I'm saying? So I want to do this for y'all. Now, if you skip some of these steps, don't skip some of these steps. I'm not even going to tell you if you skip. Because if you skip them, you're going to fail somewhere. And it's going to probably be in the plan and the budgeting. So I'm just saying, all in all, at the beginning, you probably didn't have a clear view of where you was going, but now you have a more pristine view of what a $10,000 shoestring, limited fund record label can look like when you get it off the ground. You can meet your goal of 10,000 monthly listeners in a 12-month period or 2.6 million streams in a 12-month period. It is totally doable. Music money makers, if you make music, you should make money. Make sure you download the 60-day record label. Visit musicmoneymakeover.com, book a call, and I'll see you next time. Peace.